go up here? Alright. I'm 5'11", 6 feet with shoes on. My knees are not coming up as high as some other moped style e-bike stuff. So if I just had more room on the seat where I could scoot back, I could do this. What's up, y'all? So we received what might be the best e-bike, dirt bike that we received this year. I say that because this bike has a 3,000 watt motor. Now I think that's the peak motor, but I'm not sure. This bike has full suspension, including the coil suspension, which I like the most. This bike has a 48 volt, 25 amp hour battery, advertised to go 100 miles to charge. I've never seen a 25 amp hour get to 100 miles to charge, but we'll see. The maximum weight of the rider is 365 pounds on this bike. Not sure how much this bike weighs, but this bike is definitely over 100 pounds. And this bike is the PostJoy GT16. To purchase this e-bike, feel free to use my link and my code in the description below to get a discount. What we're going to do is we're going to unbox this, put this bike together. Me and my brother and fellow e-bike connoisseur Tayo are going to test out the speed, test out the range, all that cool stuff, and see is this the best e-bike, dirt bike that we received this year. Also, I am still doing an e-bike giveaway. You want to be included in the giveaway? Comment below on what type of e-bike you would like. A dirt bike like this one, a moped style e-bike, a folding bike. Comment below. You do have to live in the US to be in the giveaway. You do have to be subscribed to the channel.
Yeah, but I think I need the silver.
Huh?
Yeah, I still need the silver.
So this is what the bike Why are you looking like that, man?
Well, like this from when I was 10 years old.
So this is what the bike looked like fresh out the box. These wheels are smaller than most. I think those are probably the smallest wheels I've had.
How much weight did they say this can hold?
365.
Ain't no way.
This bike wasn't wrapped up a whole lot, but let's go ahead and get the wrapping that's on there off. So this is what the bike looks like fresh out the box. We didn't get a battery.
What?
Got to reach out to the company. I don't know if a mistake happened or what, and we're going to see how long it's going to take for them to send us the battery. We're going to have to put our front wheel on, and this is the first time ever that we've gotten a tubeless tire on an e-bike. Because I've never used a tubeless tire on an e-bike before, I'm kind of curious, especially when it's a dirt bike tire like this with these protrusions up here. But this is a 16x3 tubeless Sanye tire. You used this tire before? Comment below on what you think of this tire. We're going to have to put our headlight on. We're going to have to put our handlebar on, which is already attached via wires. We're going to have to put our front fender on. And this bike also came with a box. We're going to have to put our kickstand on. We have our pedals, which I think are labeled. The pedals are labeled, but you really got to look. We have some pretty standard tools, which we normally don't use these kind of tools right here. Really light, tiny combination lock. It looks like we have an instruction manual, so let's look into this. Instructions seem clear, but they're a little short. I feel like we should have more instructions than just a few pages. Information about after sale service. Pretty sure that's our charger to charge our battery, which we don't have. That front wheel was kind of hard to put in because this rotates. So you have to find the right angle to rotate it to line up that disc brake. The hook part of that washer is at the bottom of the front fork. Alignment is a little off, so we're going to go ahead and install the handlebar, but to change our alignment, there's the rubber thing that we take off here. We take that off, unscrew that, and then we unscrew these on the side to change our alignment a little bit. But we're going to put the handlebar on first and then Make sure that the thing is aligned. This side of the bike came with a hook washer and a normal washer. But looks like our disc brake is rubbing up against this plastic thing here. And I don't know if it's rubbing a whole lot, but it's close. It's close. So we're gonna take that extra washer here and put it on the inside of the front fork. So we got our battery. Only took about 2 weeks for me to finally get this battery. 2 weeks for an e-bike battery is pretty elite regarding customer service. So I would say the customer service was great for me, but does that mean the customer service is going to be great for you? This is a pretty short e-bike, mainly because of the small tires. It's about 5 feet 2 inches from wheel to wheel. The seat at its highest point here is about 2 feet 7 inches from the floor. The handlebar, which is not adjustable, I guess you can rotate it a little bit, but it's about 3 feet 6 inches from the floor. Again, this will be my first time ever using tubeless tire on an e-bike, so curious on how that's gonna perform in my off-road test. But I have had these like dirt bike protrusions on an e-bike tire before. On that e-bike tire, it did really help when it came to off-road because there was no slipping at all. Looks like you can plug an air pump to it, so I'm trying to see if there's any air, actual air in the tire. Maybe there's a little pocket of air in there. Although the tires are small, I do like the design of this e-bike. I am interested on whether the seat going up like that will make the bike uncomfortable, but regarding the look, I think it's a good looking e-bike, but let me know what y'all think. Look at that suspension. And I love coil suspensions over like air compression suspension because I think it usually gives you better rebound. And that suspension is pretty long, especially for such a short bike. So curious on how that's going to perform in our off-road test. If y'all look at this rear suspension, it loves the rebound. So to turn this bike on, you're going to lift this up. So to turn this bike on, there is an on and off switch here. It looks like we already have it on. You can remove this battery if you want to by using the key that came with the bike and putting the key here, and then you can take this battery out. So we're going to go ahead and turn this bike on. There was like a little chip on this panel, so I put some plastic glue there. I guess the glue spilled a little bit, so I did tell them to send me a whole new display, so we're going to see what their customer service is like with that too, but for now this is going to have to do. So I'm going to press and hold the power button to turn my display on, and by default it's going to ask you for a password, which I have not set up yet, but it does come with these key fobs. So you use the key fob and that turns your display on. So we do have some level of anti-theft with this bike. The good thing about this display is it is pretty standard. I saw this display on AliExpress. So if I click the power button over here, it will give me more information on this display. You see my odometer. We haven't ridden the bike yet. My trip mileage. Down here we have my battery life. I did fully charge the battery. My speed calculator, pretty sure you can change that from miles per hour to kilometers if you want to. My pedal assist modes, and look like we have, I'm going to click the plus button over here. 5 different pedal assist modes. Over here by our panel we do have 2 buttons. There's a horn which is moderately loud. If I click this button, that turns my, I would say semi-beefy but pretty bright headlight on and my rear light on. And that rear light is also a brake light. We have our standard Shimano 7 gear shifter. We have a twist throttle for throttle only. We have your hard, rubbery, standard handlebar grips. I've learned to really appreciate these on the handlebar because it really does make it easier to replace your hydraulic brake fluid. Get a look at our rear and front 203mm J. Fickle hydraulic brakes. This moped style seat is kind of firm. But it is, I would say, almost 6.5 inches wide. It's about 1 feet 5 inches long. So this bike does have advanced settings. It has over 15 advanced settings, as a matter of fact. And I'm not going to go through all of them because they are in your manual. To go into the settings, you're going to press and hold the plus and the minus button. P1 is how bright do I want my display. We're going to keep it at a 3. You press up and down to change that value. I quickly click the power button to go to my next setting. This is how do I want to calculate my speed. Do I want to do miles per hour or kilometers? I'm going to keep it at miles per hour. P04 is how many minutes until this bike automatically turns off. And it was at 5, but I changed it to 20. P11 is my pedal assist sensitivity. And I think this is a setting that most bikes, if not all e-bikes, should have, because you might want to use this bike for different things. Like you might want to have a lot of sensitivity. Let's say you're using a bike to work, you don't really want to get a workout in, or you might want to actually get a workout in, which means you would have lower sensitivity. By default, it's at a 3. We're going to keep it at that to see how sensitive it is out the box. And usually the lower you go, the more sensitive it is. So I'm assuming that 3 means it's going to be really, really sensitive. P12 is my takeoff speed. Another feature that I think all e-bikes should have, because this is how quick do you take off. And on this one, I think the higher you go, the quicker your takeoff. So we're going to keep that at a 3 too. And that's it. That's all I'm going to go through, because again, all of these settings are in your display. So, PostJoy GT16, what are your thoughts?
Definitely a dirt bike style bike. Like it's a nicely crafted bike. But this is a bike for a small adult.
How tall are you with shoes on?
I'm too big for this bike. That's the point.
How tall are you with shoes on?
Well, if I'm 5'5" without shoes, it's
Well, you ride the bike with shoes.
but it's even worse.
And you think the bike was too short for you?
This is meant for children. A child that rides dirt bikes, because as fast as I don't know what. Let's say a small teenager handle a very fast bike and can maneuver curves and stuff like that. But it's fast.
Yeah.
And the tires are surprisingly grippy.
Okay.
And I like this whole, you said it was tubeless. So I think I like that. The thing that I didn't really like, I think that this is flimsy. Eventually this is gonna break. The seat was not that comfortable.
Okay.
It wasn't very uncomfortable either. I give it like a 5 or 6. The brakes are great. The headlight is amazing.
Okay.
But man, I scraped my feet on the ground on
You scraped your actual foot on the ground.
My actual feet.
All right, so what you get this bike on a scale from 1 to 10?
7.7.
7.7. Alright. So we're now gonna go through some gravel, try out these tubeless tires. This will be my first time taking tubeless tires on gravel. These Sanye tubeless tires. See how grippy they are here. I am noticing a little slipping, but nothing too crazy though. And some of that might be because the tires are so narrow and some of these rocks are so big, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, not bad. Let's go ahead and brake here. Oh, okay, grippier than most, never mind. So although these tubeless tires are grippier than most, and I'm on a moped style e-bike, so you would think I would be okay with leaning into my turns, but the only reason I'm not too comfortable leaning on this bike, although it has grippy tires and I'm low to the floor, is because the pedals are just way too close to the floor. So only way I would lean in this bike is if both of my pedals are parallel. Other than that, your pedals are going to scrape the floor. So again, the only way I would lean, here come a turn here, is if I did my pedals parallel like this, then I feel comfortable leaning. But if you try to pedal and lean, you are going to scrape the floor with these pedals. And I don't know what they could have done, because the pedal arms are already really short, but because the wheels are so small, the pedals are just really close to the floor. So we're now going to go off-road with some heels, test out these tubeless tires, and test out the suspension. Going to be difficult a little bit to pedal, because again, the pedals are close to the floor, and there's a lot of grass out, so I guess we're testing that out too. So far, so good though. Go up this hill here. Oh man. Damn, suspension a whole lot better than I thought it was gonna be. I didn't feel nothing there, but okay, I'm starting to feel some stuff now. But let's go up here.
All right. Suspension is decent. I would say better than average for sure. Man, I love coil suspensions. I just feel like the rebound is really great. I think it helps take a lot of the bumps and cracks that you will get when you're going on grass like this or off-road. It takes a lot of it out. Now, this is not the best suspension I've had, but it's better than average. I'll just stick with that. But let's keep going. Again, I have to watch my pedal because I'm close to the ground. Pedal's close to the ground. Yeah, I don't know if the camera's doing it justice, but I don't feel a whole lot of shaking here, which is pretty interesting because these are smaller tires. So, all right, nice work on the suspension. Let's go ahead and go down here. Let's test this out. Oh, not bad, okay. I'll stay on a scale of 1 to 10. I get that suspension. Now you can adjust your pedal assist sensitivity and you can adjust your takeoff speed in your advanced settings. I didn't change anything. So out of the box, I would say it's a little too much sensitivity, but that's in mode 3 and up. Mode 1 and 2, sensitivity is pretty perfect in mode 1 and 2 for me. Look like mode 1 takes me up to 10 miles per hour. I'm gonna show y'all what I mean here. I'm gonna switch it to mode 3. Go ahead and pedal here. All right, so it starts out pretty good, but then after a while I'm ghost pedaling. That's what you get with a cadence sensor. Like I don't feel like I don't feel like it's taking into account how hard I pedal. It's just trying to get me to the max speed, which looks like it's like 24 miles per hour in mode 3. So yeah, I'm ghost pedaling. It looks like mode 3 takes me up to like 24 miles per hour. Let's go ahead and brake here. Oh, great brakes though. Really great brakes. So that's why I like a torque sensor better, because I feel like it takes into account how hard you're pedaling, and that makes the bike ride more comfortable. But you can adjust your sensitivity, so that's good, and you can adjust your takeoff speed. But I'm 5'11", 6 feet with shoes on. I would say this bike is just a little short for me, and it'd be okay if maybe I had like another seat that I could attach back here. Sometimes they come with like a seat that you can use for a passenger. I would attach something like that, then maybe I could scoot back, then maybe it wouldn't be so bad. And if I could rotate the handlebar closer to me, but my knees are not coming up as high as some other moped style e-bikes though. So if I just had more room on the seat where I could scoot back, I could do this. Honestly, I could do this at 6 feet with shoes on. Comfort-wise, the seat is not comfortable. This seat is hard, so I would definitely need like a seat cushion or something like that, or maybe even a booster to make the seat comfortable. The bike as a whole, I would say is semi-stable. I would say I don't feel like I can like go without my hands on the handlebar or nothing. Let me try. I guess I could. Oh no, I can't. But that's because of the sensitivity I currently got. But nah. I don't feel like I can ride this bike without my hand on the handlebar. But both hands on the handlebar at all times, way stable enough for me to use, and I would say stable enough for a young person to use. So we're not gonna go max speed, throttle only. So I'm not pedaling. We got up to 23 pretty quickly. We're at 25 now, 26, 27. 29. It's really hard to see the screen, and I turned up as hard as I could. 30, 31. 31. And back to 30. You want to say like 30 miles per hour max speed. Throttle only, which is pretty good. Man, now I would not be using a bike like this in the street because the pedals are just way too low to the floor again. And also because the tires are a bit too narrow, I think, to have enough stability for me to feel comfortable in the street. But, you know, it has all the bells and whistles you would need in the street. You know, headlight, rear light, horn, all that cool stuff. But I do think this is a perfect bike for more urban areas. Because of the smaller tires, because you are a bit low to the floor, It does feel like you can avoid things a little bit better when you're that low to the floor. So because the bike is pretty compact, although it has like a motorcycle style front fork, you can still make some pretty sharp turns because the wheels are so small, you know what I mean? The wheels are so small, the body is pretty small, so definitely think you can avoid people and things pretty easily, but just if you're using the throttle when you're avoiding people, just remember to make sure your pedals are parallel. We're gonna go max speed, pedal assist. Again, because of the pedal assist sensitivity out the box, I'm probably gonna be ghost pedaling quite a bit. It looks like we got up to 22, 23 pretty quickly. See how fast we can go in max speed pedal assist. 24. Oh, here come a car, shoot. Oh, never mind. I'll just keep going. All right, 20. Alright, I tried it, now I'm ghost pedaling, so 27. Alright, we might do the rest later. Gonna try it again on more of a straightaway. 26. 27. 28. 28, but I did use up a lot of my battery life. I was going 30 miles per hour earlier. So we're now gonna do max speed throttle only up a hill. And this is a pretty steep hill, about a 35, 40 degree hill, and the hill is on a turn. So we're gonna see how much speed we lose going up the hill. Again, I'm not pedaling, 25 miles per hour. Going into the hill now. All right, 26. 25, yeah, okay. All right, here comes the steepest part of the hill. And because I have to turn, again, my pedals are parallel here. Okay, 22, steepest part right here. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, Alright, so it looked like we lost about 9 miles per hour. Usually we lose around that much going up this hill.
First, let me say they did send me my new panel and display. I haven't put it on yet, and it took about a week to get there, so I think that's pretty great customer service for me. Does that mean the customer service is going to be great for you? But I think this is a decent e-bike for the price. I think right now it's like under $1,000. What I like the most about this bike is how compact it is. I can definitely see you using an e-bike like this in urban areas. And the speed. I was able to go up to 30 miles per hour or over 30 miles per hour, but as the battery drains, you can't hit that max speed anymore. I do like air tires better regarding comfort, but these tires were not that far off. Actually pretty comfortable, and I love the fact that I can ride my bike without worrying about the wheel popping. And I like the extra protrusion on the dirt bike tires, especially when you're in gravel and grass. I do wish I had more seat room here with me being 6 feet with shoes on. I would need to add that detachable seat that you can put behind these moped style e-bike. The suspension was okay. I love all the bells and whistles, especially the hydraulic brakes. But one thing about the tires being so small, it does force the pedals to be really low to the floor. So only way you can really lean in this bike is if you put the pedals on the same level like this. One thing I think could have been better with this bike is the battery life. I went on a 15-mile bike ride. Now I did spend 7 of those miles going max speed pedal assist. I spent 1 mile going max speed throttle only. The rest of the time I was in mode, I would say 2. In that 15 miles, I lost like half of my battery bar. So that's more like 35 to 40 something miles per charge. But I was in max speed quite a bit. So, but all in all, I think it's a decent bike. On a scale from 1 to 10, I would give this bike a 7. But comment below on what you'll get this bike on a scale from 1 to 10. Any other e-bike you want me to review, also comment below. Thank y'all for watching. Peace.